Hi guys, good to see all of you again on today's IronFX webinar series on proper risk management. So today we will also be doing a live webinar session. I do see someone that is saying that chat is disabled again as last time. No worries. Okay, so whoever's chat is actually being disabled or unable to use the chat, you guys can send in through the Q&A button on your phone or on your laptop, all right? All right, so let's begin on today's webinar. All right, so just a simple self-introduction. We are from Everest Fortune Group. All right, so today will be a 100% live discussion unless you guys have any strategy or any questions you guys want to ask. And right now we are actually also accepting your live analysis requests. So if you guys have any analysis that you guys want to request, do type down in the Q&A or the chat box if that is working for you guys. All right, so right now I'm just gonna resume to the trades and the charts. All right. Okay, to let me know if you guys can see the screen. If you guys can, do let me know that you guys can. All right, that'll be great. So let's start. Maybe let's do Euro USD since we already have it up here. You guys can also request for any pairs that you guys want to see it being analyzed. Okay, so let's just start with the weekly chart right here. We have a previous downward sloping trend line that is still ongoing, seemingly trying to move upwards. I'm just trying to see whether there is any historical support over here. I'm seeing a historical support over here. All right. This is what I'm seeing. And then let me see, is there any recent levels? We can see a recent support turn resistance level over here at this price. Sorry, it just wouldn't come up. Okay. All right, at 1.07414. Are you guys able to see the screen again? Because my side is a bit flashing. Okay, that's great. So let's move on to the daily. All right, let's look at it. There is on the daily, it looks like it has been on the upward momentum since about September. And we are looking at a new resistance turn support situation at 1.08080. All right. Looking at previously, there was also a small upward moving channel. Let me just also bring in the Genesis IronFX portal. Let's take a look at the H4. We are also seeing a resistance at this point at 1.0440. So let me just take it as resistance. Zoom in a little bit. we're looking at a not much of a trend that we can see here, even though there's no trend, we are looking at a V-shaped recovery that has already been played out. Not big on the trends. However, if you guys remember the weekly line, the weekly descending trend line that we actually already mark out just now. Let me just change the fonts to big. All right, so this is the weekly descending trend line that we are seeing, the red color dotted one. So looking at the resistance and also the descending trend line on the weekly, we're more highly likely to look at a downward movement per se. However, if you want to put in a closer look, you could see that there is also a channel pending to form that is actually an upward movement. Even though the big trend is downwards. So let me just okay, so this is what we are looking at right now. However, it could be still a quite risky analysis. However, we can take a look at possibly a short-term analysis. Okay, so let's look at a small trade. Do take note of this, and also just take this analysis as a consideration. We are looking at the chart. However, everyone has different perception of the charts. All right, so let's look at Fibonacci projection. We are looking at 78.6 for stop loss. We are looking at 61.8 for sell entry or your entry. Then let's take one for take profit. So take profit, we are looking at in between 61.8 and 78.6. I would say much nearer to 78.6. So we are staying with that. Let's look at indicators. Let's look at Ichimoku. So Ichimoku right now price is above the clouds. However, if you guys actually take a closer look at this, you guys will be able to see that. Okay, so you guys will be able to see that the red line, which is the baseline, actually has already crossed the conversion line, showing early signs of downward movement over here. Let's also look at the stochastics. If we are looking at the stochastics, we can see that right now price is approaching the upward level. If you guys want to, you can still wait for the downward movement. Let's look at the RSI. RSI is a very clear sign of downward trend line movement. All right, so I'm looking at a possible short-term drop and then an increase afterwards. However, if price really exceed the weekly descending trend line and reach us above, you guys can take a look at the stop loss as well. However, this is a not very trending pair we are looking at as of right now for euro dollar. All right, do you guys have any requests for analysis today? If you guys do not have, then we are looking at a possibility of, hold on. Okay, so if not, we can proceed it with another pair, maybe dollar franc. Lay out everything. Let's start from the weekly. Sorry. Okay, so on the weekly, it's very clear on where is the resistance price. We are looking at about roughly 1.003. All right, and recent support from resistance and support, we're looking at 0.3751. Oh, Q&A. Okay, we'll look at Brent oil later on. Look at daily. Not much of a trend. I would say that it's really bouncing up and down within these two prices. Let's look at H4. Yeah, H4, we have a massive drop previously on the 12th of November. We are looking at the recent drop. That is looking a lot like this. Not the most pretty, but let's zoom in on this part. We are looking at a downward drop. And a here. Okay, so if you are looking at the H1, you'll be more obvious. We are looking at a triangle movement. All right. So our likely prediction for H1, just to take note, this is the H1 chart. All right, we are looking at a possibility of short-term bounce up. You can see that there is a small bounce over here. We are looking at entry over here. At current, entry at current. And I will take profit over here, roughly in line with our downward moving trend line. Let's also do our stop loss just right below our dip beforehand. Let's take out our Fibonacci projection. We are looking at 78.6%. And then let's take a look at let me just readjust. This is the correct. Yeah. 100, 127, 161. Doesn't seem to be very good amount. We'll leave Fibonacci out for this one. Let's look at Ichimoku clouds. Yeah, we are seeing a drop. We are below the cloud for now. We are looking at a possible short-term bounce up. So Ichimoku cloud might not be the best indicator. We are looking at stochastics. We are looking at a touch at the bottom. All right, we're looking at touch at bottom. There's a chance that it might bounce back up to our resistance looking levels. So the first pick was at this one, and then we're looking at the second pick at here. So we're looking at a possible touch of another pick over here. This is my very short-term analysis for 1 hour on dollar franc. Let's look at Brent. Okay, so let's look at weekly for UK oil, which is our Brent. We're still on a upward moving scale beforehand, before it dropped through. All right. This is what we were looking at previously. We are looking at weekly chart. Upward moving until recently in October, we're looking at a downward trend already. Looking at a daily chart, let's look at this. Okay, we'll look at gold in a while as well. We have a downward moving channel on the daily. Let me just remove this. Yeah, so this is what you can see. However, there is a support over here at 83.62. Let's take a look at 4 hour. So this is the daily. Let's look at the 4 hourly. Okay, however, I'm actually seeing a pattern. Okay, there's a chance that H4 has a small head and shoulder movement. We are looking at an increase. So in this case, looking at a possible entry over here. Normally, we measure head and shoulders proximity or the next movement till roughly about where. So I'm looking at a possible close off at this support time resistance pricing, also in line with our downward moving resistance, downward moving channel resistance. All right. So if you guys would like to, I would personally put my stop loss slightly closer this time around. Okay, this is what I am looking at. Possible looking at this. Let's take out our Fibonacci. Looking at 1618, 1272. We are looking at in between these two, a bit far. So we always take profit before. So I will highlight this area. Then we can take a look at current. A little bit far off. Sorry, retracement. Sorry, we should take a fib retracement. We are looking at a possible 38.2 for stop loss and 23.6 for our buy entry. All right, let's take a look at RSI. not telling us much for RSI, pretty much in the middle. Stochastics not telling us much. Yeah, there we go. So we are looking at the Ichimoku cloud. I do see that price is still below the cloud, but however, it is trying to exceed it. All right, so in the midst of trying to break through this cloud, and we are also seeing a upward movement on the base and conversion line, where actually the conversion cross above the baseline, seemingly trying to show that there is early signs of build up and early signs of breakthrough of this Ichimoku cloud. I'm looking at Brent oil to be a short-term upward movement, however, big-term downward movement for now. So let's just put that in text. All right, so Juha, is that how I pronounce your name? I'm so sorry if I pronounce your name wrongly. Do let me know if you have more questions on Brent oil. If not, we can move on. Oops, sorry. Okay, I guess we are good. Let's look at gold. Okay, let's look at gold. Gold. We are looking at the weekly chart right now. Looking at some key levels. We are looking at 1642 with the most recent support. All right. Recent downward trend, a very short one, if you must say. All right. Let's look at a daily chart for more info. Looking at current levels, looking at this. Okay, we have a resistance and support. We are looking at upcoming resistance over here. All right, so we have a over here, daily support. Let me just change the color. At H4. Oh, this does not look that good. Okay, so we are seeing that price right now is maneuvering up and down through this resistance. Okay, I would say that it might have already exhausted the upward movement. We are looking at stochastics as well. I'm looking at a current drop, but a smaller one. All right, so about here with the recent very small support. Let's take Fibonacci. Projection. There we go. $61.8 for the take profit. Retracement, we should be looking at 78.6 or 61.8 as well for the take profit. 161.8 might be a bit too far for the stop loss, in my opinion. I would like to put it way closer. So in terms of this analysis I'm looking at is that if price for H4 did break through this resistance at 1784, we are most likely looking at a breakthrough for this recent resistance, which I will not be very keen to continue to pursue this analysis. So I'll put my stop loss way nearer, way closer. Okay, so let's bring out our stochastics again. There could be a small Nike tick action actually, because we are looking at a hit of 1272. So I'm just going to draw it out. All right. However, Nike tick should have a smaller tick profit, might follow through. So maybe we can do 1 and 2. So we are looking at a retracement that is looking at 38.2 and 23.6. So probably here. Okay, depending on which you are comfortable with. Let's bring out the indicator. We're looking at stochastics. Let me just smoothen this out. Okay, so we are currently looking at a resistance level that has been reached. All right, there's a chance of a drop down. Okay, then we can also look at another indicator. You see, that's the thing. We are looking at take profit 1 and 2 because there's a chance that price will not drop beyond these clouds. So having 1, 2, 3 take profits will be much safer as well. All right, so this is my answer on gold for the anonymous attendee. Do you guys have more questions on gold? I'm guessing nope. Okay, so we are done for gold. Any other pairs that we are looking at? Hey, you guys want me to analyze on this webinar? All right. In this case, we could do so kiwi. It's been long since I look at this pair, so let's take a look. Whoa, extreme drop from a high. So historical levels do play out. See 1.7943 historical level. Very interesting, actually. This is what I'm saying. So beforehand, it was a upward. Now we are going downwards. Looking at daily. If you're looking at daily, obviously we will have a pretty sharp downward drop. All right. So let's look at H4. I think H4 will look great. Downward, and on top of the downward, we should be seeing a downward channel as well. Okay, so we are looking at a pretty much in between the channel and the down drop. There was a even smaller drop here. If you want to look at it this way, or you could look at another channel. Okay, so in this condition, I'm looking at. So how about we take it down to H1? Maybe we have more to see. Right now, if we are looking at H1, I would say it would definitely be a short-term buy-in. We can do a short-term buy-in in this case. 78.6%, very nicely matched. We're also looking at a possibility of buy entry at 127 is fine. So we're looking at a buy entry at 1. We are also looking at a stop loss just right below it. All right. We're looking at it, we are breathing space. We are looking at a short-term upwards because of this downward channel, support bounce off, right? However, this is why I'm keeping my stop loss incredibly close. Also looking at a fib retracement. At 50% for our take profit. Yeah, as you can see for the stochastics, I will make it even closer date because we're looking at a really small time frame. So we are looking at a downward movement, however, seemingly going to break through. We are also looking at a bounce off of the support that we are on. All right, this is what we are looking at for dollar Kiwi. Indicators, I most use stochastics. My favorites are stochastic, Ichimoku clouds, and RSI. And then strategy wise, I'm more of a short-term trader, so I'm also looking at a more closer time proximity, like 4 hour, 1 hour, to do my analysis, and I'm more on a price action instead of looking at specific how do you put it, pips. Okay, I'm more of a price action rather than just depending on indicators. All right. And then, okay, for Joseph, we are looking at dollar yen. Okay, once look at dollar yen, let's look at dollar yen. Joseph, which time frame you are looking at? Which time frame are you trading on? I remember last time we did dollar yen, it wasn't the favorite to actually analyze, but we are looking at a possible drop in the upward movement. Let's look at the daily. Yep, there is a chance that it's moving downwards already. Looking at a very nice entry if it was here. Let's look at H4. H4, we can see a very obvious downward movement, downward trend line. Just want to try to see whether is there a downward channel. Looks like it if I eyeball. Yeah, there's two touches about there. Not the best in my opinion, but we are looking at two touches as well. So in between these two sections, we are looking at actually cross the previous small time support at 137.623. We're looking at, if you want to see that this is a channel highly valid, I would look at price to drop all the way here. However, if you are looking at the odds, we are looking at 137.623 and 133.651. Price is right in the middle. I would say it's not the best time to analyze it and not the best entry point for anything as of now. If it's me, I would say for this kind of analysis, I will stay put and see the direction of one and take note of these two price level of 137.623 and 133.651. All right, Joseph, do you have any direction or what are you looking at for dollar yen since you asked it? Can we get an answer from Joseph? Not really. So were you more inclined in neutral, or were you more inclined in up or down? Okay, neutral as well. I'm also looking at neutral. I think just need to take note of this two price level. Then we are, after they have touched this two price level, then we can do another in-depth analysis. All right. Okay, do we have more pairs up and coming? Okay, if we don't, maybe we can do one more pair before we do a VIP website sharing. All right. So let's do another pair. Let me think. Maybe silver. Not sure whether you guys are interested in silver. Weekly. Okay, we'll do ZCAT in a while. All right, let's look at silver first. We are looking at a support and resistance situation here. Let's look at daily chart. Daily, there's a short-term upward movement, not gonna lie. However, we can still see that previously when we reached this resistance at 22.07, we're still looking, oops. We are still seeing a drop. We'll see whether this time around whether the price will be able to move above that. See short-term bullish channel, short-term bullish. However, if you guys take note of this as well, another resistance that we could be looking at. Silver is more likely to be in the middle as well. If you guys are interested in silver, this is something that you can take note of. This upward short term, we are looking at big time frame downward. We are also looking at a resistance since June this year, looking at 22.42196. Okay, so let's do Aussie CAD. Someone wants to also see how to draw on a 15-minute chart. I think 15 minutes the way you should do it is about the same as an hour. However, it's way too fast. So I will do the 15 minutes on Aussie CAD. All right. Let me just take a look at Aussie CAD. Clear downward movement for the bigger time frame. This is what I'm seeing. Any key levels to take note? Not much, but for this resistance. Okay, let's look at the daily chart. Still looking at daily chart is a upward movement for a short term. However, we should still see a impact on this channel. Let's look at H4. You can see that there was an upward movement. However, I'm expecting a downward drop right now. Just to the center of the graph. All right. Let's look at a retracement. $61.8, nicely fitting. Let's look at a projection. $78.6, very nicely fitted. I will also put my entry rather close for stop loss in this case. This could be okay. We're looking at 100%. All right, let's look at Ichimoku should be showing upwards. All right, because previously it was upwards. All right, so let's observe it. If you guys are using Ichimoku, however, I will pull out my stochastics for this time round. And then we are also looking at touching the resistance level. $94.23. All right, I know some people use 80-20, 70-30. However, to me, I think the peaks are the most important and the support are the most important as well. This is Aussie CAD for me. Realme, is that your user ID? Do you have any views on Aussie CAD? Do you have any views on Aussie CAD? We can go, each one looks similar, same to me. Let's look at 15. I want to close up the 15. 15, you would have to play every single movement here because anything that is prolonged, it's very hard to draw for 15. So if in this case, I would take a look at the smaller entry. My observation will be done on the H1. Okay, so I'll mark out this support instead. And then we are looking at a possible, let me look at 15 minutes. Possible. No. 15 minutes, you would have to play the smallest movement possible, right? For this time around, you can see that Aussie CAD for 15 minutes, it's a bit indecisive, not a good time. You can see that for the past few candles, it's stuck here. Don't know if you guys can see, but it's stuck here. Not the best time to trade 15 minutes. All right. So for me, 15 minutes, I'll play this very small minimal movement that you can see on H1. So we are playing this one stretch of movement only. That's how I do the 15 minutes. All right. Okay, do we have other pairs to take a look at if you guys want to? Or the 15 minutes one, do you all have any questions? Euro JPY. Okay, Euro JPY and pound dollar as well. Okay, let's take a look on Euro JPY on the weekly chart. JPY. Seems like an upward movement. However, there is a bit of a stagger. Looking at this way, but an overall upward movement. All right, let's look at daily. Resistance. Recent resistance at 147.505. Let's look at H4. H4, we are looking at a short-term downward movement. Actually looking at a triangle right now, if you guys can see. Yeah, it's a triangle more than anything else. All right, so you can see this triangle. So we should be looking at trades within triangle movement before it breaks out of the trend. So we're looking at this is what I'm looking. Let's just say our triangle is supporting. Let's take our Fibonacci projection. Fibonacci will be the best kind to use in triangles. All right, it looks way better in triangles. So we're looking in between 61.8 and 78.6. However, 78.6 will be exceeding the triangle. So we are looking at 61.8. And then we are also looking at 100% and 78.6. %. All right, in line with the previous weeks down. And then let's look at possible stop loss. Short-term upward movement. Hold on. Looking at touch and bounces of the support over here. Euro JPY for me, this is how I'm looking at it. Do Joseph have any other questions for Euro JPY before we move on to pound dollar? Okay, I guess we are done with that. Let's look at pound dollar. This was a very big support. This support was at 1983. Looking at upward movement instead now. Each daily, we are looking at a straight upward movement as well. H4. Let me see whether we have any resistance we are looking at. Looking at this point at 1,22701. Not a very good trade time. All right. I mean, we have some space. If this breaks through this previous high, this previous peak, we are looking at up all the way to 1,22701. However, 1,22701 is really a very small trade to make. Not very worth the risk and reward ratio unless we are looking at it all the way going up to 1,26615. However, that will have to be provided that it exceeds to 1,22701. All right, so I would say that for pound dollar, we can keep in view. All right, we are looking at it to exceed 1,22701 before we make a move to 1,26615. All right, that's my personal opinion for Manju. Okay, so let's take a look at IronFX VIP portal. All right, so I did share this portal with you guys a while back. However, I think some of you are still quite confused by what is this portal, etc. Actually, this portal is actually a partnership between Iris Fortune Group and as well as IronFX to actually bring up a platform for you guys to actually have the how do you say, have the access to actually reach out to the traders at our company to do a interaction discussion on their trades, etc. So how can you get an access? Hold on. All right, so deposit is actually required. All right, so you guys can actually check out the IronFX website to see how much deposit is needed minimally before you could get access. All right, and then we also have the chit chat trading discussion where you guys can actually take a look at all of these trades that are being posted, potential setups. We also have videos. All right, and we also have, so these videos are actually the IronFX channels that is actually liaising with us as well for the webinars that we have put up. All right, and then we also have daily news and daily updates for the majors. All right, we can see Euro, Pound, Dollar, Yen, Aussie, Kiwi, all. We also have gold. All right, so we're looking at daily news. We also have the majors. We also have the traders posting majors analysis every single day. So you guys can also look at the analysis. So let's just, for example, look at this analysis. We can view discussion. We can see the price level that he have marked out. Just hover over the highlighted words. You guys can see exactly what he is talking about. So this feature is something that has not been found in any other websites, trading websites, especially the function of having a discussion and also able to see each other's highlighted levels. I think that it's something that you guys would really appreciate. So it'd be great if you guys actually can get the access or join the IronFX VIP channel. Okay, we also have commodities over here, indices. All right, so we are looking at a lot of opportunities to interact. All right, so how can you do it? So you guys can also request for setups and request for, you mention the traders and ask them how does my analysis look like, for example, like this. All right, so how do you link? Is that you just highlight the word link to object. So let me just put a horizontal link, right now, confirm and enter, and then you can see that everyone can see the support that you're talking about right now. All right, so this is how you get it in this VIP website. All right. Do we have any last questions for this VIP portal, this VIP website? All right, I think if not, that will be to end of today's webinar, and then we will see you guys in the next IronFX webinar. You can join the website as long as you have the IronFX access. You have the IronFX trading account, and then there will be a minimum capital that you have to have inside the account. And then you can come and request access from us. Okay, so let me also just type in the website. You guys can also ask IronFX about it. deposit for IronFX, you would have to ask IronFX. All right. Okay, so if I'm not wrong, the minimum starting should not be a big amount as well. Should be a comfortable amount, all right? So if you guys really want to request, you guys can also ask IronFX for more details. All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.